Let's be honest. For the longest time, for most of my adult life, really, I thought gratitude was pointless. I know, it sounds terrible to say out loud. It's like admitting you don't like puppies or sunshine. Gratitude is supposed to be this fundamental, universal good. It's the cornerstone of self-help, the secret ingredient to happiness, the one thing every guru, therapist, and meditation app agrees on. Just be grateful, they say. Start a gratitude journal. List 3 things you're thankful for every morning. And I tried. I really did. I would sit there, pen in hand, staring at a blank page in a beautiful, overpriced notebook, and I would write, 1. I'm grateful for my coffee. 2. I'm grateful for my job. 3. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. And I would close the notebook and feel absolutely nothing. Empty. A little bit fraudulent even, because while I was writing those words, my brain was screaming in the background. My real thoughts were, yes, but this coffee is the only thing getting me through a day I'm dreading. Yes, but this job is burning me out. Yes, but this roof is over an apartment I feel lonely in. It felt like a lie. It felt like I was just putting a cheap, smiling sticker on top of a deep structural problem. It felt like toxic positivity. That phrase gets thrown around a lot, but this was the very definition of it, forcing a positive emotion while ignoring a very real, very valid negative one. And it wasn't just that it felt fake. It felt worse. It felt like I was failing at the one thing that was supposed to fix me. I wasn't just unhappy, I was ungrateful too, which, of course, just added a nice thick layer of shame and guilt to the whole miserable experience. I looked at people who seemed effortlessly grateful, people who posted on social media about #blessed mornings and #thankful vibes. And I didn't feel inspired. I felt cynical. I thought, well, it's easy for you. You don't have my problems. Your life is good. Mine is complicated. I honestly, truly believed that gratitude was a luxury, a spiritual dessert for people who had already finished their main course of a happy, stable, successful life. It wasn't for people who were still in the trenches, still fighting, still trying to figure it all out. For us, it was pointless. And I lived in that cynical, frustrated, and deeply stuck place for years, until one specific afternoon. A Tuesday, a day so profoundly unremarkable I have no reason to remember it, except that it changed everything. It was a moment I almost missed, a moment so quiet, so subtle it barely registered. A moment that started what I can only describe as the shift. And that's what I want to share with you today. Not another lecture on why you should be grateful, but a story about how gratitude finally became real for me. Before we get to that moment, we have to sit with the why. Why did it feel so impossible? Why does this simple, beautiful concept of gratitude so often fail us when we need it most? I've thought about this for a long time, and I think it comes down to 3 main reasons. First, there's what I call the gratitude list fallacy. This is the mechanical act of listing things, the pen-to-paper ritual. We're taught that the act of writing it down is what matters. But is it? When I was forcing myself to write coffee or my pen or my cat, it felt like I was doing homework. It was a chore. It was an item on a to-do list to check off. Okay, practiced wellness, done. There was no emotion attached. It was an intellectual exercise, not an emotional one. I was thinking about things I should be grateful for, but I wasn't feeling gratitude. And our brains are smart. They know the difference between a thought and a feeling. You can't just tell your heart, "Hey, feel this now." It doesn't work. The ritual itself, the list, had become the goal. Instead of the feeling it was supposed to create, it was all form, no substance. It was like describing the ingredients of a cake and expecting to taste it. The second reason it fails is much deeper. It's the guilt trip. This happens when gratitude is presented as an antidote to suffering. You're in pain, you're sad, you're anxious, you're grieving, and you open up to someone, or you read a book, and the advice is, well, you just need to be more grateful. Think of all the people who have it worse than you. This is, perhaps, the most damaging advice in the entire wellness industry. Because what does it do? It doesn't heal your pain. It invalidates it. It tells you that your suffering isn't legitimate because someone, somewhere, is suffering more. It's a form of emotional blackmail. It implies you don't even have the right to feel bad. So what happens? You stop trusting your own feelings. You feel ashamed of your sadness. You feel guilty for your anxiety. You think, I have a job, a home, and food. I have no right to be depressed. And so you just bury it. You silence your own pain. But the pain doesn't go away. It just festers, and now it has company. Guilt, shame, a profound sense of being a bad person for not being able to just choose happiness. True gratitude can't grow in that kind of soil. It's impossible. Guilt is not a pathway to gratitude. It's a roadblock. And that leads to the third, most scientific reason, cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the profound mental discomfort you feel when you hold two conflicting beliefs at the same time. Belief 1, my reality. I am overwhelmed. I am financially stressed. I feel lost and hopeless about the future. This belief is strong. It's based on daily evidence. It's loud. Belief 2, the forced affirmation. I am so grateful. My life is abundant. Everything is wonderful. This belief is new. It's quiet. It feels unearned. Your brain cannot hold both of these truths. It has to pick one.
And it will always pick the one that feels more real, the one supported by more evidence. It will always believe the scream over the whisper. So when you try to force gratitude, your brain literally fights back. It says, no, that is not true. This is true. And it actually strengthens your negative feelings as a defense mechanism. It's trying to protect you by keeping you anchored in what it perceives as reality. This is why, after writing in my gratitude journal, I would often feel more hopeless. I was trying to build a new house on top of a crumbling foundation. I was trying to tell my mind that the fire alarms blaring in my head were actually just pleasant background music. My mind wasn't buying it, and I don't blame it. So, the gratitude list was a chore. The be grateful advice was a guilt trip, and the forced affirmations were a psychological impossibility. I was completely, totally, and utterly stuck. I formally gave up. I stopped the journals, I unfollowed the #blessed accounts, and I just resigned myself to being a cynical, ungrateful person. I decided I would just focus on fixing the real problems. I'll be grateful after I'm successful, I told myself. I'll be happy when I'm not anxious anymore. I would just have to muscle through. And then came that Tuesday. The setup for this story is not dramatic. I wish I could tell you I was on a mountaintop or in a deep meditation. I was not. I was in the middle of one of the hardest seasons of my life. My career felt like it had completely stalled. A long-term relationship had ended, leaving me feeling hollowed out and profoundly alone. My finances were a mess. My anxiety was at an all-time high, a constant thrumming electrical current of dread under my skin. I wasn't just at my low point. I had been living there for months. It was my new normal.
On this particular Tuesday, I had woken up, as I often did, with a blinding migraine. Not just a headache. A full-blown, lights are too loud sound hurts my skin. Nausea in my throat, migraine. It was a 10 out of 10 on the pain scale. I did what I had to do. I took my medication, I chugged a glass of water, I drew all the blinds, and I curled up in bed, just waiting for the storm to pass, feeling miserable and defeated. The pain was just one more piece of evidence that my life was fundamentally not working. Hours passed. The day was a write-off. Around 3 p.m., something shifted. The medication, the rest, it finally started to work. The jackhammer in my skull didn't stop, but it softened. It went from a 10 down to maybe a 4. The nausea receded. I could open my eyes without feeling like the light was stabbing me. And I remember this so clearly. I remember the exact texture of this moment. I was lying there in the quiet, dark room, and a thought floated into my mind. It was a simple, uninvited thought. It just appeared. The thought was, "Thank God. The pain is not a 10 anymore." That was it. Thank God this isn't as bad as it was an hour ago. I just felt it. It wasn't, "I'm grateful for this beautiful day." The day was objectively terrible. It wasn't, "I'm grateful for my health." My health was clearly awful. It was, "I am grateful for the absence of the worst pain." It was a gratitude for relief. And in that moment, something clicked. It was the first time in my entire life that the word grateful had been attached to a feeling that was 100% real. It wasn't a should, it wasn't a thought. It was a visceral, physical sensation. It was the feeling of a heavy weight being partially lifted. It was the feeling of exhaling after holding your breath for too long. It was real. And this is the shift. The secret that I had been missing my entire life. I had been trying to practice gratitude all wrong. I was trying to search for the good. I was running around my life with a magnifying glass, trying to find shiny, positive things to appreciate. Look, a flower. Look, a good parking spot. But my brain wasn't wired for that. My brain was wired for threat, problem, danger, fix it. The shift was realizing that I didn't have to find positivity, I just had to notice the absence of the negative. True gratitude for a person wired like me wasn't about finding joy. It was about noticing relief. This one tiny change in perspective, it changed everything. It was like I had been trying to unlock a door by pushing it for years, and in that moment I realized it was a pull door. After that day, I didn't start a journal. I didn't force anything. I just started noticing. I started practicing what I now call micro-gratitude. It's not about big, abstract concepts. It's about tiny, tangible, often negative moments. And it has 3 main pillars. The first and most powerful is what I just discovered: gratitude for relief. I started to catch these moments all day long. That feeling when you're stuck in awful gridlocked traffic and it finally moves, and you let out that breath. That's it. That's the feeling. In that moment, I'd just think, I'm so glad I'm not stuck anymore. That feeling when you've had a long, stressful, agonizing meeting and it ends. You click Leave Meeting on Zoom. That wave of it's over. That's the feeling. That feeling when you have a toothache and then you wake up one morning and it's just gone. That feeling when you send a terrifying, vulnerable email and you've been dreading the reply. And then the reply comes and it's fine. It's not a disaster. These are not positive moments. They are moments of neutrality that follow a negative one. But that transition from tense to not tense, that is one of the most powerful and most overlooked sources of genuine, deeply felt gratitude. I was no longer hunting for elusive happiness. I was just acknowledging the relief from my everyday suffering. And there were dozens of these moments every single day. The second pillar I discovered was gratitude for stability. This is what I call gratitude for the boring stuff. This came from a realization I had when my internet went out for a day. I was furious. I couldn't work. I couldn't watch anything. I was completely derailed. And then the next day, it came back on. And when I saw that little green light on the modem, I felt a rush of gratitude. I realized I had never once been grateful for the internet when it was working. Not once. I just expected it. It was invisible. It only became visible when it was gone. So I started to practice noticing the things that were not broken. The hot water in the shower. I mean, can you imagine if it wasn't there? But we never thank it. The light switch that works, the car that starts, the door that locks, the trash that got picked up. Our lives are held together by a million invisible systems that are functioning correctly, and we ignore all of them. We only pay attention to the one system that fails. Practicing gratitude for stability is about thanking the boring. It's looking at your old comfortable pillow and thinking, this is great. This is solid. This is here. It's not sexy. It's not #blessed, but it's real. It's an anchor. It's a way of seeing the foundation that is already holding you up, even when the rest of the house feels like it's on fire. The third pillar was a complete game changer for my anxiety and my sense of failure. It was gratitude for effort, not outcome. For my entire life, I was only grateful or happy when I succeeded, when I got the A, when I landed the client, when I finished the project. The problem was I was failing a lot, or at least I wasn't succeeding at the pace I wanted to. So there were very few moments for gratitude. The rest was just driving, stress, and disappointment. This new practice was about shifting the goalpost. What if, at the end of a long, hard day where nothing went right, I could still be grateful for the effort? What if I could go to bed and think, okay, today was a disaster. I didn't get the client. The presentation was clumsy. I felt anxious all day. But I am grateful that I showed up. I'm grateful that I tried. I'm grateful that I didn't just hide under the covers. This changed everything. Because you can't always control the outcome. You can't control if they like your presentation, if the email lands well, if the project is a success. But you can always control your effort. By being grateful for the try, I was finally playing a game I could win. I started to see myself not as a collection of failures, but as a person who was incredibly resilient. A person who, despite feeling anxious and overwhelmed, kept trying. And I started to feel a new kind of respect for myself, a new kind of gentle, quiet pride. And that felt more powerful than any win ever had. Gratitude for relief, gratitude for stability, gratitude for effort. This was my new practice. No journal required, no forcing, no faking, just noticing. I would be washing the dishes and I'd just think, I'm grateful for this hot water. I'd be sitting in my car after a long day and I'd think, I'm grateful I did that. It's over. I'd be looking at my to-do list and I'd think, I'm grateful I have the energy to even attempt this. It was quiet, it was private, and it was working. So what was actually happening? Why did this simple, almost negative approach to gratitude work when the positive one failed so spectacularly? Well, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I've read a lot about this since. And it turns out I had accidentally stumbled upon the very mechanism that makes our brains work. Our brains are not designed to make us happy. They are designed to keep us alive. Our ancestors, the ones who survived, weren't the ones chilling out and admiring the sunset. They were the ones who were paranoid, the ones who heard a rustle in the bushes and thought, "Saber-toothed tiger," not, "Oh, what a lovely breeze." That paranoia, that fight or flight mechanism, is baked into our DNA. It's called the negativity bias. Our brains are built to scan the environment for threats, problems, and dangers. It's our default setting. This is why, in a performance review with 10 compliments and 1 piece of criticism, what do you remember? What do you obsess over for weeks? The criticism. This is why you can have a great day, but one rude comment from a stranger can ruin your entire evening. Your brain latches on to the negative. It's not a flaw, it's a feature. It's your brain trying to protect you. Now, here's the problem with traditional positive thinking. It tries to fight this bias. It tries to override it. It says, "Stop thinking about the tiger, think about the flower." But your brain just says, "Are you crazy? The tiger will eat us. The flower doesn't matter." My new practice, the micro-gratitude, it didn't fight the bias. It worked with it. When I practiced gratitude for relief, I was literally speaking my brain's language. I was saying, "Hey, you see that tiger? That threat? I want to thank you because it's gone. The threat is over. We are safe for now." And my brain would go, "Oh, okay, good. Threat neutralized. We can relax for a second." I wasn't telling my brain that its fear was wrong. I was acknowledging the fear and then celebrating the moment it subsided. When I practiced gratitude for stability, I was gently, slowly retraining the scanner. I was teaching my brain that not everything is a threat. I was saying, "Scanner, I know you're looking for what's broken, but could you also just log that the door is locked? Log that the power is on. Log that we are not, in fact, in immediate mortal danger." I was expanding its definition of reality. Reality wasn't just the list of problems. It was also the much, much longer list of things that were fine. And with gratitude for effort, I was rewiring my brain's reward system. The reward, dopamine, satisfaction, no longer came from the win, which is rare. The reward came from the try, which is daily. This is how you build resilience. This is how you build a mindset that can't be broken by failure. Lao Tzu has that famous quote, "Do not look for a sanctuary, build one within yourself." This is what I was doing. I wasn't looking for a perfect, happy, positive life. I was building a small internal sanctuary of calm. And here's the most beautiful part. It's not that I stopped having negative thoughts. I still have them all the time. I still get anxious. I still get stressed. I still have bad days, but they don't own me anymore. Because now my brain has been trained. It has new neural pathways. It has a new default setting it can jump to. The anxiety comes and I feel it, but then it passes and I notice, relief. The stress comes and I feel it, but then I get the hard thing done and I notice, effort. The bad day comes and I feel it, but then I get into my bed and I notice, stability, this pillow. Gratitude isn't a replacement for sadness, it's a companion to it. It's the anchor that holds the boat steady even when the storm is raging. It doesn't stop the storm, but it reminds you that you will not be swept away. Over time, slowly, without me even noticing, my entire life began to change. Because I was no longer waiting for life to be good to feel good. I started to find good everywhere, in the most broken, mundane, and difficult places. I started to become lighter. I became more patient, with myself mostly. I became more forgiving. I started to notice other people more, not just their shiny successes, but their effort, their struggles, their quiet resilience. My cynicism, that hard, protective shell I had built around myself for years, it didn't shatter. It just softened. It dissolved. And one day, I was sitting with my coffee, and I wrote in a notebook, "I'm grateful for this coffee." And for the first time in my life, I actually meant it. So, here's the truth. I was right all those years ago. The gratitude I was being sold was pointless. It was a shallow, flimsy, fake-it-till-you-make-it performance that had no power. But I was wrong about what gratitude is. Real gratitude is not a sunny, cheerful feeling. It's not about ignoring the darkness. Real gratitude is forged in the darkness. It's the defiant, quiet, courageous act of noticing the light, no matter how small. It's noticing the single candle in the pitch-black room. It's noticing the pause between the thunderclaps. It's noticing the strength it took to just get out of bed today. It is not a positive emotion. It is a deep one. It's the feeling of being anchored. So, if you're like I was, if you are skeptical, if you are hurting, if you feel like gratitude is a word for other people, I see you. And you are not broken. You are just human. Here is my invitation to you. Don't try to be grateful. Don't force it. Don't write a list. Just notice. Tonight, or tomorrow morning, or right now, just try to catch one tiny moment of micro-gratitude. A moment of relief. The meeting ended. The noise stopped. The pain subsided. A moment of stability. The water is hot. The light turned on. This chair is holding me. A moment of effort. I tried. I showed up. I'm still here. That's all. Just one. Let it be your secret. A tiny, quiet shift. You don't have to build a sanctuary in a day. You just have to lay one single, honest brick. And now, I have a request. A call to action, if you will. But it's a gentle one. You don't have to write a list of 3 things, but I would be so incredibly grateful if you would share just one in the comments below. What is one moment of micro-gratitude you noticed today? It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be poetic. I'm grateful the dog finally stopped barking. I'm grateful I made it through that phone call. I'm grateful for this pair of socks. The more honest, the more boring, the more negative, the better. Because your story might be the one that helps someone else find their shift. Your one boring brick might be the one that gives someone else permission to start building. Thank you, genuinely, for listening. Thank you for your effort in being here. You're not alone in this, and you're doing so much better than you think.